let's talk about the relationship break. It is, without a doubt, one of the most confusing and emotionally draining things you can go through. It's this weird limbo, right? It can leave you feeling completely lost. So, in this explainer, we're going to walk through a really clear framework to help you navigate all that uncertainty and maybe even turn it into an opportunity for some real clarity.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? This is the one that keeps you up at night. You were just caught in this gray area. Are you single? Are you still a couple? What are the rules here? That ambiguity is absolutely exhausting. And it's that feeling of being totally untethered that we have to tackle first. So let's actually give it a name. Let's call it the in-between. Just acknowledging that and defining this state, that's a really powerful first step. It validates everything you're feeling, that this is it's a distinct, and yeah, it's a really difficult period. It's not just you, this is a known emotional territory. And the good news is, there's a map to get through it.
Okay, so our first major job is to completely reframe how we think about this break. This is the foundation for everything else that's going to follow. Seriously, without this mental shift, the break can end up doing way more harm than good. You really have a fundamental choice here. Look, on one hand, a break can be used as a threat. It can be a punishment, a way to control someone, or a harsh ultimatum. And that is the destructive path. But on the other hand, it can be used as a tool, a deliberate pause button you hit for some serious reflection, a path to get some actual clarity. So the crucial first step is to consciously decide together that you're going to see it as a tool. This isn't a weapon. Think of it more like a diagnostic instrument. All right, so once you've got that new mindset in place, we can move from the why to the how. And this is huge. A productive break absolutely 100% requires clear, mutually agreed upon rules. This isn't about being rigid or cold, it's about creating emotional safety for both of you. Here's a simple 3-step way to do it. First, define the terms of contact. What does no contact actually mean? No texts, no calls, no nothing? Or is, say, a quick weekly check-in okay? Get specific. Second, choose the channel. Maybe you both agree that only email is allowed. Why? To prevent those impulsive emotional texts that usually happen late at night. And third, set a duration. Agree on a specific time frame. Maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a month, and at the end of it, you'll have a conversation. An indefinite break just prolongs the agony. The whole purpose behind setting all these rules is actually pretty simple. It's to protect your nervous system. You need to give your brain and your body a rest from that constant anxiety, the endless checking of your phone, that whole emotional roller coaster. You're trying to create a calm space where you can actually think clearly, which, let's be honest, is the entire point of the break in the first place. So now that you've created that quiet space for yourself, it's time to actually use it. This period is not for just passively waiting around, watching the clock run out. It's an active opportunity to do some really essential inner work and figure out what's really going on beneath the surface. Start right here. Be a detective of your own emotions. When you weren't with your partner, what came up? Was it this intense, deep loneliness? Or was it maybe a surprising feeling of relief and freedom? It could have been anxiety or fear. Whatever it was, don't judge the feelings. Just observe them. They are really, really valuable data. Now this is the next critical step. Every feeling points to a need. So if you felt profoundly lonely, maybe the unmet need is for a deeper emotional connection or more intimacy. If you felt relieved, perhaps your unmet need is for more independence and personal space within the relationship. You have to connect the feeling to the need. And look, if you're struggling to put it into words, that's totally normal. Here are some common examples. Maybe you realized you need more consistent emotional support. Or perhaps you discovered that deep down, you and your partner aren't really aligned on those big picture future goals. Just use this list as a starting point to help you articulate what you've discovered about yourself. Okay, the break period is over. You've done the work. Now comes the most pivotal moment, the re-entry conversation. This is where you both come back together to share what you've learned and, ultimately, decide on the path forward. To make this conversation as productive as possible, you gotta follow this playbook. First, share your findings, those unmet needs you identified, calmly. Use I statements. This is not about blaming anyone. Second, and this is so key, listen to your partner's findings without judgment. Just hear them out completely. Third, based on what you've both shared, discuss the future openly.
Can these needs actually be met within this relationship? What would have to change? And finally, make a unified decision, whether that's to recommit with a totally new plan or to separate with mutual respect.
So if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this. We've come full circle, right back to that initial reframing. A break, when it's used correctly, is a powerful, constructive tool that's designed to bring clarity into confusion. It's an act of respect for yourself and for your partner. It's not an act of aggression. Because ultimately getting that clarity, that's just the first step. The real work actually begins after. Whether that clarity leads you back together with a brand new understanding or it leads you to part ways with peace and respect, the goal is to move forward without all that ambiguity. So the real question isn't just what you've learned, it's what brave decision you're going to make with that new knowledge.